Hey there, students. We are on our number systems review number 2. Okay, so yesterday we did number systems 1, and then we went through some certain things. We're going to look here at number systems 2. So let's take a look at this little part right here. Absolute value, if you'll remember, is how far away a number is from 0. So let's take a look at number 1. Number 1 says -5, the absolute value of -5. Well, how far away is -5 from 0? It's 5. So the answer is 5. Okay, and I'm going to look at number 2. Number 2 says the absolute value of 12. Well, how far away is 12 from 0? It's 12. So the answer is 12. So you can see the absolute value is going to always, I'm not going to get into the what ifs. If you are dealing with an absolute value, you have to always think how far away is that number from 0. Okay, on number 7, 8, 9, and 10, it says find the opposite of a number. Okay, so what is the opposite of, so we're saying this, the opposite of -3. What is the opposite of -3? Well, it equals 3. Okay, so this one right here, let's do number 9. What is the opposite of +4? Well, it would be -4. Okay, so let's take a look, 11, 12 through 14 now. The opposite of the opposite, okay? So we're looking at this. That negative right there is, and these are absolute values, so we have the absolute value of -2, which is 2, and there's a negative on the outside of it. So that equals -2. Okay, the absolute value of 8, which is 8, and there's a negative on the outside of it. So pretty simple on those ones. All right, number 15, 16, and 17, we are ordering numbers from the least to the greatest. And I'm going to give you a hint. If you have a number line to look at, this is going to make this a lot easier to do. So if you don't have a number line to look at, you might want to refer to your journal. There's one in there. And so let's look at a couple of things here. So this is just whole numbers. So you should be able to put these numbers in order from least to greatest. And let's see, the smallest of the numbers is -35. So we have to put that there. Now remember, you're going to want to write all your numbers in for A, B, C, and D. And then you're going to come down here and go, well, this was A. So there you go. That's how you do that. Same thing on 16, but this is decimals, so you have to remember you're dealing with decimal, and same with fractions. Again, another hint on fractions, sometimes it's easier, it depends on what fractions are, to turn them into decimals. So if you can remember how to turn these into decimals, well, let's take 1/2. What is 1 divided by 2? So I have 1 divided by 2. Well, I'm going to put a point there. And we get 0.5. So this is -1/2 or -0.5. So where would -5 be? It would be right here. This would be, well, I haven't decided if that's the least or the smallest. So plot them. So you can do this in one of two ways. You can plot them and see where they are, and then put them in order from least to greatest, or you can just find out what all of them are, then put them in the A, B, C, and D, and then label it. So there you go. Let's look at 18. An office building has 22 stories above the ground level and 5 stories under the ground level. How many floors apart are the top and the bottom? Okay, so we can use this number line to help us. So we know that this is 22 up here, right? This is the ground level, and then we have -5 down here. So we have to go, okay, well, how far is it from 22 to 0? Well, that's 22. And how far away is it from 0 to 5? +5. So my answer would be 27. There are 27 floors in between those two. So That's what you're practicing on number 19 and 20. Number 21, if you'll remember, we did this a few times throughout the year. We are going to plot the points, and then it says identify the polygon. So let's plot this. So again, I am going to go -3 and 3. So negative, remember, the first number is the x, and we always go over before we go up and down. So we are going to go -3, which is here, and then we are going to go up 3. And so there is my first dot right there. Then it says to go over 3, up 3. So over 3, up 3. We're going to make our dot right there. Then it says over 3, -3, and then -3, -3. Now, we're going to combine all of these, and we are going to identify this polygon. A lot of you might say it's a rectangle, and it is a rectangle, but it's this one is a special type of rectangle, which is a square. Okay, so that's what you're going to do on the rest of those, number 22 and 23 and 24. Let's go to the other side. Okay, students, I am going to be honest with you. This is going to be the hardest part of the number systems assignment that you have, but it isn't that hard if you can remember. All of these are going to be greatest common factor or least common multiple. And what if you don't know if it's greatest common factor or least common multiple? Well, I'm going to help you out with that a little bit. So let's look at this first one. I'm looking for keywords. Oh, I see greatest. So guess what? It's a greatest common factor. Let's look at this other one. When it says smallest number of muffins that have been sold, we're going to be using least common multiple. Another word that you need to be aware of is again. Again always means LCM. Okay? So look, there's another one, LCM. Okay? So go through here and see if you can do this. We're going to do some of these in class, but I think that you can figure that out if you look at these. So I want to go over greatest common multiple and least common multiple one more time. So row 1 has 2 pieces of cable. One is 15 feet long, the other is 12 feet long. For a science project, he wants to cut them up to produce as many pieces of cable that are all the same length with no cable left over. What is the greatest length in feet that he can make them? So we are going to go 12 and 15. Make a cake. What number's going to both of them? 3. That goes 4 and 5. And now we can't, there's no numbers that go into 4 and 5. So our greatest common factor is 3. We can make the lengths of these 3 feet. And this is, of course, a GCF. Okay, so let's look at this LCM one here. Matthew goes hiking every 12 days and swimming every 6 days. He did both kinds of exercise today. How many days from now will he go both hiking and swimming again? So I'm going to go like this, 12 and 6. Well, let's say that you didn't know that 6 went into both 6 and 12, and you used 2 instead. So that would go 6 times, and it would go into this 3 times. And then we would go, 3 goes into this one, both of those. And now I know I'm done because I got to a 1. Now, remember, lowest common multiple is different than greatest common factor. We're going to take our greatest common factor, which is 2 times 3, 6. And then we're going to take our top layer of our cake. And then we're going to go, well, and 2 times 1 is 2. So we're just going to go 6 times 2. So 12 is my lowest common multiple. And that is how many days it will take him before he goes both hiking and swimming again. 12 days. All right, guys. I want you to go through this and give it your best shot to see if you can figure out greatest common factor, lowest common multiple. Good luck. And if you need help, be sure to ask.